Hello, Belleville East Lancers. It is time for our final installment of this year of the 5-Question Friday, final installment for this semester. And as always, I have my mask on, reminding you that please wear your masks and continue to wear your masks, right? If you're in large groups. Of course, I'm by myself in my classroom, so I'm not going to do that. I think I'm crazy. Of course, you might look at my jacket and think he's crazy anyway, but that's okay. So this week, remember we do this, Police Lancers, to remind you that there's going to be a day, like you are in high school right now, but without a doubt, there will be a day where you're going to be an adult. There's going to be choices for you to make of what you can do. So we're highlighting successful graduates, and today we have a really special guest with us, and this is an amazing, amazing story. Our Lancer that is with us today is Jessica McCaskill. Jessica, why don't you say hello to everybody?
Hey, everybody.
Jessica, I'm going to guess the year of graduation. Okay, I'm guessing. I really don't know on this one. I'm going to say 2014.
I graduated high school 2002.
2002?
Yes.
I wasn't even close.
No.
That is amazing. See, now, guys out there, let this be a lesson to you. Always guess younger. Always. Right? Let it be a lesson to you. So 2002, wow, that goes back way back. I started here in 2001. So the first class that graduated, you were in. That is unbelievable. Okay, so I told you that this is a different edition, right? So Jessica is the undisputed welterweight champion of the world in boxing. And she sat in the same seats that you guys sit in every day here as a Belleville East Lancer. Now, Jessica, there has been a lot of water under the bridge between 2002 and you becoming the undisputed welterweight champion of the world. So we'll talk about that a little bit later, right? Let's talk about what it was like when you were a Belleville East Lancer. Like, what did you feel like as a student at Belleville East?
Well, there definitely was a lot less buildings. I feel like it always gets super fancy as soon as you leave, but I have been to campus lately. I'll be back again soon. And things were really rough for me at the very beginning because, now don't boo me, I came from Belleville West. My freshman year, I was I was at Belleville West. And then we moved across the line. And so then I became a Lancer. And it was just a rough beginning, new people, new campus, new teachers. And so it just kind of took a second to kind of get acclimated. And one of the teachers that really helped me was Mrs. Mudd. You guys know Miss Mudd. And it was her first year as well. So we had a lot of growing pains together. And that really pushed me through to make it successfully and graduate.
That's amazing. That is incredible. So before you got to East, or when you were in East, like, what was life like at home for you? A lot of kids don't go from West to East. So like, how did that work?
We were upgrading in life, I guess you can say. We had
you're upgrading if you went from Belleville West to Belleville East.
Yeah, you're gonna get me in trouble with everybody at Belleville. We had come from a very nice home, and then we had some hard times, including when we were homeless at one point. And so we had gotten ourselves into a duplex, and we were going to move into our new home, a new home. And so, that was the upgrade that we were going to, and it was on the Belleville East side of town. And so just a lot of moving and shaking, a lot of things going on. I grew up with 3 older brothers, and at this time I was living with one of the older brothers. So just kind of following his footsteps and, trying to find my place. I felt like, high school is really, really awkward and weird. And I felt like I didn't really know what I wanted to do, and I didn't know where I belonged. And there were certain things that kind of rang a little bit more comfortable than others. Like, I don't know if anybody knows the name Mr. Snively. He was my communications teacher, and man, he was great. And I owe a lot of my interviews and the conversations that I have and the public speaking that I have to do to him, because he taught so well and he was able to relate a lot of things to where they were able to be absorbed. And so in memory of Mr. Snively, you know, I just try to do my best in a lot of the communication that I hold. And I actually became a communications major at Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville. So I found my way, and it just kind of was one of those things where I had to figure out, you know, what was kind of inside of me and where I wanted to go from there. So, you know, high school is never going to be easy. It's awkward. It's weird. I wasn't like the popular kid. I actually just kind of like to do things my own way. I like to stand out, but not like everybody else. So it was definitely probably just awkward, if anything.
So you, and there's some videos out there about you because you are a boxing champion, right? So I saw in there that you lived in Lincolnshire, right? Which some of my students are probably familiar with that place. Where else did you live when you were here?
Weatherstone. When I was in Belleville, I lived in Lincolnshire. I lived in Weatherstone. I lived on East C Street. I lived on 2nd Street. I think that was it. So the last place I lived was on East C Street, and that's when I was in high school at Belleville East.
Wow. So then you're sitting in high school and you're daydreaming during your history class, which is what most of my students do every day. And as you're sitting there daydreaming, you're thinking, I'm going to be the welterweight champion of the world as a boxer. That's what you were thinking in high school, right?
Not even close. I started my boxing career when I was about 26. And that's normally not when you start, you know, something big like that, especially a professional sport. You get into those things when you're younger, and people say, oh, you must have boxed when you were a little girl. No, I did like cheerleading and pom squad and basketball and softball. I did all kinds of random things. I never participated in a combat sport until after college. So it just shows that you can pick something up at a later age. So if you're not into what you really love right now, you still have time to figure it out. And I picked it up, and I've excelled to the highest level that you can get to in this sport, whether you're a man or a woman. So I have 7 world titles right now. I have a ton of belts. So we have another fight coming up soon, and there's one more belt on the line that I can get. And then from there, it's just kind of whatever we create.
Wow. Okay. So you got a lot going on here. So you said you graduated from SIUE, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So do you have a job outside of boxing, or, you know?
Yes. So another thing about life that people don't really tell you is that you'll go to school and you'll get your degree, and I would probably say 70% chance you'll get a job that has nothing to do with your degree. So I'm in finance. I work in investment banking, and I work at 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. in the afternoon. And that's I guess you can say, my day job, my full-time job outside of boxing.
Wow. Okay. So how many welterweight champions of the world are also investment bankers?
There are not very many, and everybody loves to call me the investment banker boxer. The white collar crowd is very much into the boxing scene. It's kind of a thrill. So walking into the office after sparring or after a fight with kind of a bruised up eye, they want to hear all about it. And it's been really good to be able to share, you know, my experience with people that are outside of, you know, the normal network, and to bring fans in and to connect people from their world to my world through those bridges.
Wow. Okay. So how did you get into boxing, right? You don't walk down the street and become a boxer. Like, how did that happen?
Well, I've always been a gym rat, and I've always done some kind of sport ever since I was little. And it just kind of came to someone giving me a gift card to a kickboxing class. And I tried it out for a month, and I realized that I did not have any desire to stretch my legs out every day and to kick above my head. And so we could eliminate that part of combat sports. And in the same gym, there was another trainer, and he was teaching boxing. So I switched over after my month. And with everything that I do, I just have really high competition. You know, growing up with 3 older brothers, you're trying to hang with them and, you know, be able to run faster, farther, all those kind of things. And so I just always have this competition with myself to push to the next goal and break the glass ceiling again and again and again. So once I moved over to the boxing side, there's just kind of different steps that you can get through as a boxer. You know, you learn the basic movements, and then you kind of work on your stamina, and then you have your first sparring session, which is just like practice boxing. Everybody has headgear on. It's a safer environment. And after my first sparring session, I wanted to have my first real fight. And that's with USA Boxing. There's a national organization that pretty much just runs everything. You have your membership with them, and you have a book. They keep all of your records. And so I wanted my first real fight on the record. And from there, it just grew out of hand, I guess you can say. And next thing you know, I turned professional in 2015.
Wow, that is unbelievable. So a couple of things. First of all, you said you kept wanting to break the glass ceiling. What do you mean by that?
There's this glass ceiling that of different, I guess, goals, or maybe even just kind of thoughts that kind of hold you in one place. And so for me, it was the glass ceiling was the next level, and I wanted to learn how to spar. And once, you know, the real test is if you're a boxer is when you get hit. And my first reaction when I got punched in the face was, that wasn't so bad. Now it's my turn. And I've always found myself one of the stronger females that I've been in competition with. And so when you're fighting, there's your local level, and then there's the regional level, which includes the states that are around you, and then there's the national level, which is the best of the best from every state. So there's different competitions on different levels, and I wanted to get to each one of those levels and win and just kind of surpass the goal before.
Wow. So did you have people telling you, you know, you can't do this? Like, there's no way you're going to be able to do this. There's no way you're going to, I mean, did you have that? Did you encounter that?
I felt like I came across a lot of people that had kind of like low expectations, and the way that they said things were, you know, just kind of underhanded per se. They wouldn't really come out and say those things. They would say, oh, you hit hard for a girl, or you're pretty good for a girl. And so I just had to, you know, just kind of brush those things off. And I just told myself I was going to show them what a girl can do. And a lot of times we have guys come in the gym. We have mainly a female squad here at Body Shop Boxing Club, my home gym in Chicago. And we'll hire guys to come in for training, and they 90% leave with bloody noses or busted lips. So, you know, they won't tell us directly, you know, hey, good job, or hey, man, you really got me. But they'll tell our coach kind of off to the side, like, man, she hits like guy. You know, it's just like they're really kind of surprised, and they get as much work as we get.
Wow. So, I mean, I have so many questions I want to ask you. So what was your family's reaction when you said, I want to be a boxer? What does your family think?
I do so much stuff kind of on my own. I was well into it by the time I had really kind of communicated it back. And my mom, she's completely unfazed. I mean, like I said, running around with 3 older boys when I was younger, it was like, Jessica, get off the roof of the house. Jessica, you're not tall enough to ride that ride. Like, you know, it's just, I was always gunning for the top. And so she wasn't surprised in a little bit.
Wow. That's amazing. Okay. So do you find that being a boxer helps you be a banker, and that being an investment banker helps you be a boxer?
I do find the two separate worlds to be very similar. When we talk about investment banking in the finance world, it is very male dominated, and it's just kind of one of those things where you have to own your presence and really stand up and make sure your voice is heard. And in boxing, with it being, you know, male dominated, or at least, you know, beforehand, it was very much more male dominated. Same thing. You step in the ring with the guy and you give it your all, you tap gloves afterwards, and, you know, you pretty much, you have to run it, like you own it, and, you know, don't back down.
Wow. Unbelievable. You're unbelievable. Okay. So I can see why Mrs. Mudd Osborne liked you so much. You're doing all the things that she wanted to do. She would have loved to do this. Okay. So let's get to the 5-question Friday. Okay. You ready?
Yes.
All right, here we go. First question is, what's your favorite memory of being a Belleville East Lancer?
I would have to say senior year, when we all had our senior teams, and we were, I think, the Boogie Knights. And there was just so much, everybody came together on one level, and we all had to compete as a team and stick together. And I think that was just some of the most fun times that I've had in high school.
Well, who is your sponsor or your coach for your homecoming team? Do you remember?
I don't remember. I have to go back and pull out my yearbook. I don't remember. But it just, even the different teams that we had, I felt like we were all just really enjoying the time and space that we had together.
That's awesome. Okay, so what has been the main component to your success, of achieving your success? What's been the main component, you think?
I would say consistency. I get up at 3:30 every morning. That's part of my regimen. You have to keep a regimen, no matter if it's your diet, if it's your workout. If you're going to go out of town, make sure you get your workout in before you go or while you're there. You can't interrupt the consistency of what you're doing and expect the same outcome. I would also say my self-competition. I don't need another person standing across from me in order to have a goal. I have the goals within myself, and whether I am able to complete or, change those goals, that's up to me. And I just keep everything within myself, and I don't let anybody else control what's happening or the outcome.
Fantastic. That's amazing. Okay, third question. TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, or Facebook?
I have all of them. Snapchat is like my own personal world. I don't really share my Snapchat with anybody, so I can be a lot more of myself. Instagram and Facebook, I get a lot of outreach in those. And TikTok, I just watch animal videos. So I would have to say, Instagram is probably my go-to.
Nice. TikTok and animal video. I know TikTok is a whole new world to me. I have no idea what's going on. Except I see kids at the store going like this and dancing around. I'm like, what is wrong with you? Okay. Question number 4. Who is your celebrity crush?
Oh my goodness. I don't think I have one. No, I don't think I have one. I'm so focused on my boxing. I don't have time for that.
Boxing is your celebrity crush.
There we go.
I always say this. I always think it's a good thing when you don't know or you don't have one. When somebody immediately says like, "Oh, Charlize Theron," right? It's like, right? That's a little weird. Okay. Final question. Outside of your family, who would you say has been the most important mentor person to help you in your life?
I wouldn't say mentor. I don't know. I don't really. I guess float towards that term, but Rick Ramos, he's my coach. He's my manager. He's my wardrobe consultant. If I have to go to a meeting or to an interview or something, he's my best friend. He's probably the first and only person to really put his neck on the line when it came to diving into female boxing and making it something even when it wasn't. So I would definitely say a lot of props to Rick Ramos.
That's awesome. Okay, so you're done with the 5 questions, right? You can relax, right? What would you say is your advice that you would give to the kids that I'm in my classroom right now that sit in this classroom or any classroom in Belleville East? Like, what would you tell a high school kid advice?
I have literally sat in those chairs. I've walked those hallways, and, there's probably not a lot of things that seem totally clear right now, and that's okay. And, even the next day or the next year or into your adulthood, things can seem really foggy or unsure, questionable. And I would have to say you have to trust your gut no matter what, and then put 110,000% into every single thing that you do. And a lot of times just doors will open, and the effort that you put in, I feel like the world gives that back to you. It's like good karma. You put out a good effort and it comes back to you in ways that you won't even see or pay attention to. So, do your utmost best every single time that you can. And also be good to people. That pays a lot of good dividends in the end, things that you don't even realize. Like the guy that, you helped up that fell on the ground is the guy that's going to, pay your house off or something crazy. I mean, I've heard crazier stories. So it's just really important to be good to people, and for the reason of wanting to be good to people and not for a benefit at the end of it.
Jessica McCaskill, you are an inspiration.
Thank you.
Your story is amazing, and I certainly hope that the Lancers that are listening to this heed your advice, because you're in a position to definitely give some great advice to anyone, but especially to our high school kids. So I thank you very much for being here. Belleville East Lancers, remember, man, there's going to come a day where you get to make these life decisions where you might become a boxer. You choose whatever you want to choose to do. And if you put your mind to it, you can make it happen. This story is proof that if you really want to make something happen, you can make it happen. So, Jessica, we finish each one of these with the same phrase. It's the same thing I've been telling my classes for my entire career on Fridays. And that's stand up for what you believe in,
even if you're standing alone.
Look at that, with emphasis. Mr. Snively would be proud.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Thank you to Jessica McCaskill, class of 2002, not 2014 or whatever I said.